everyone, thank you for watching. Today we are going to be testing some new products, doing some new techniques, and you'll see it as we go along. So why are we wasting time with the intro? Let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to do is a new technique. I want to do underpainting. It's not new. It's not new at all in the makeup world. It's not a new technique that was created. It's just new to me, okay? It's just new to me. I've probably done it a couple, like twice, and I really liked how it turned out, so we're gonna do that today. What underpainting is you start with cream products. You start with like your bronzer, blush, and highlight, and you put those underneath your foundation, and then you just like lightly buff the foundation over top of it, and it's just supposed to make everything like melt into the skin and look really natural and cohesive together. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start with bronzer, with the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Bright Side, because that's the shade that I like for myself. I'm gonna start with the bronzer stick. I've seen people just like draw this on their face. Personally, I don't love that. I don't like that for me. I like to pick it up on a brush. And then so just by doing that, it will kind of buff out the product initially on the skin instead of just drawing it on first completely. I feel like I can never get like my bronzer like in even spots on both sides. So I'm trying to work on that, okay? Like this side always ends up lower than this side. I don't know why, but that's kind of the good thing about underpainting is it will all get fixed eventually when you put the foundation over it. So it can look a little bit crazy. And one thing that I have learned from doing this technique is that like you can pile on the product. Like this looks a little crazy, but because you're going over it with a foundation or whatever you like to use as a complexion product, I use and I'm gonna use a medium coverage foundation, so it's going to cover a lot of this anyway, so you actually do want to put on maybe a little bit too much of your cream product at first. And I put it on with the brush. I was taught a long time ago by makeup artists, don't apply product directly to your face because it won't blend out as well. So I have just taken that with me through life. And so this, yes, is too much bronzer for anyone for a natural day, but because we're underpainting, it's going to look a lot more, it's gonna get covered. It's gonna get covered. And then I'm also, because I don't put bronzer under my chin, I'm gonna put a little bit of contour. This is from Essence. This is the Baby Got Bronze contour shade in Moon Dust. Well, it smells like cucumbers. And then just with the same brush, I'm just gonna buff that out a bit. And yes, I did just apply that directly to under my chin because it's under my chin. I have trouble caring too much about that. And then I'm gonna do a cream blush. This is the e.l.f. Putty Blush. This is in the shade Tahiti. This Sephora number 56 brush is like my favorite brush of all time for cream products. And then I'm going to load this up as well. We're gonna look like a bit of a clown, but who doesn't love that? It's because I did this yesterday and I put on like a normal amount of stuff and I felt like under the foundation it just like didn't look strong enough. So today we are going in with it, okay? Because it's just makeup. If it comes out bad, we can take it off. Not a big deal at all. And then I also do my concealer at this stage too. So I'm just using the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. This is just a nice concealer, blends out really well. I'm just gonna put that in the places where I want concealer and a bit of highlighting, so that's under the eyes. On the forehead, just to make sure it's highlighted. The chin, and then a bit down the nose. So I actually don't know why I put blush there if I'm just gonna put this here. So we're just gonna highlight those areas of the face. And then I'm gonna take my foundation on the back of my hand, the Wet n Wild, and I'm gonna use a stippling brush for this, just because it's gonna give us the lightest kind of buff. So I'm just gonna pick that up a little bit. Start in the areas that don't have anything on it, and then move our way up, stippling over the areas that do have that cream product on it. And I'm also going to blend in the concealer with this as well. And I am going between like buffing motions and like stippling motions. Okay, so now half the face is done. You can see everything is covered and blended in together. So this turned into this. And that's what I really love about underpainting, is that it adds that life and dimension to the skin under the foundation. So ironically, it looks like you're not wearing a lot of makeup when we are wearing a clown amount of makeup. And then just do the same thing on the other side. I do tend to buff on the areas that don't have any product on, and then stipple over the areas that do, just so I'm not like dragging the blush and bronzer around my face, you know? And I'm also not going to use any more foundation than I already put out. I took the paddle out and I swiped both sides on my hand, so that would be about like 1, maybe 2 pumps of a regular foundation. I'm not going to use more than that, because then I feel like it's going to just cover too much. I wouldn't, me personally, wouldn't use a full coverage, a super full coverage foundation with this, just because it will completely defeat the purpose, you know? With a medium coverage, you're getting like a little bit of life underneath, but with a full coverage, you're just covering. And then with a light coverage, obviously you're gonna see more of that bronzer and blush underneath. So it really just depends on the look that you're going for, the amount of cream product to apply under, and the coverage of the foundation that you want to use. And then I'm gonna get you really close, and hopefully you can see how actually like natural the skin is looking. I think it looks absolutely stunning in person. Like, it just looks like I have great skin, which is what I love so much about this technique. And some other like notes and tips to help with underpainting if you're doing it. If you are putting on like a lot of product and you're waiting a while before you put the foundation on over top, you might want to take something like a MAC Fix Plus or just like any like setting fixing spray to like help like kind of re-wet the cream products that you're using. So that way when you go in with your foundation, everything is much more malleable if you've let it sit for a while. And then personally, when I'm wearing this much makeup, I don't like to set it with powder and when it's fully wet. I will like sit here for a couple minutes and just kind of like, I don't know, anything else. If you fill in your brows with a pencil, this might be a good time to do your brows or something if that's how you do it. But I just kind of chill out for a couple minutes, let everything kind of settle as much as it's going to for a liquid, and then I will go in and finish setting it with powder. I've seen some people say that doing underpainting makes it look like you're not wearing makeup, makes it look like your skin is just completely flawless. And yes, it does add a more flawless look to the makeup, but it still looks like makeup. This does not make it look like your skin is just naturally glowing, whatever. Like, it still looks like makeup. You can see I'm not hiding anything here. There's no filters on this video. I don't even know how people put filters on their videos. It's still, I'm wearing makeup very clearly. It's a more natural look to the makeup, but it is still makeup. Okay, I need to make that clear. I don't want anyone to go into this with false expectations that this is going to make them just look like they have flawless skin. It just makes your makeup look a little bit more flawless. It makes the makeup application look a little bit more flawless. It does not make it look like you don't have makeup on. Okay. And then because I love blush, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of that cream blush and just tap it into the foundation over top, because I feel like a lot of it's still there under the foundation. You can still tell that there's life in there. There's some rosiness, but I love blush and I want more. So just gonna add that. And then I'm going to go set all of this and I will be right back with the next product that we're testing. Okay, now into the new products. The first one that we're gonna start with, we actually, I think, only have We have two new things that we're testing. This is the Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Touch Highlight in the shade Enlighten. Let me take it out. I picked this up yesterday. This is not like a super new product. This launched a few months back, I believe, but it's new to me. I have never tried it before. The shade Enlighten is like this white kind of shade. They call it a cool champagne, but to me, it's a white. This is a baked formula. It is silky to the touch. It is very lightweight, the packaging and the product. Like you touch it and it kind of feels like you're just like touching like a hollow wafer, if that makes sense. And that is it on the finger. It is super duper reflective. I'm just gonna swatch it on the back of my hand for you, so you can see. It's very pigmented, very reflective. It is the kind of formula that if you use too much of it, if you put too much on, it will look like a stripe on your face. I was playing with it a little bit last night before this, and I was like, I want more of a punch, I want more. And I just like packed my brush and I just put it on and there was just a stripe on my face and I had a really hard time blending it out. So less is more with this product. Is very, very intense, but the shine and the reflection it gives is absolutely stunning. Okay, so I'm going to apply it with a brush. This is just a little tiny fluffy brush. Just gonna put my brush into it. Just that much. Like I'm afraid that was too much. Like this is how much I have on my brush. Now I'm just gonna put it on. I'm gonna do one side just like straight as it is, and then the other side I'm gonna spray the brush with Fix Plus and we're gonna put it on wet and see how that levels it up. Okay, so we're just gonna start with just the dry side. I am barely touching my face and that is already what's on there. I'm gonna turn my brush this side and actually I'm gonna put it onto the clean side because I'm afraid that this is too much. You can see like there's still some on the brush that I didn't touch and I fear that I put too much on. So if you can see that reflection, that is so stunning. But as you can also see, if it gives a little bit of that stripe effect from straight on, like most highlights, you can't see it. Turn the head, bam! I'm gonna try and like tap it in with my finger and see if that kind of will help the stripiness of it to go down. And I think it actually is a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's helping a lot with that. So it is workable. It's not an unworkable product. It's completely workable, and it just like we're glowing. We're glowing, and there's no doubt about it. It's a very intense highlight. If you're not someone who likes highlight, you're not gonna like this. But if you are someone who likes highlight to loves highlight, you will like this because you saw how intense it was when I first put it on. I was able to work it down a bit. And like if you tap it in with the finger, it brings it down, kind of helps melt it into your skin, to the powder that's already on. And now I'm afraid to pick up more, but I'm just gonna tap, just that. I don't know why we're doing this, but why not? Take the Fix Plus just a little bit, because I don't want too much on it. I have a feeling it's gonna be too intense and I might regret this. We will see. Yep, that's giving stripe. That is giving, okay, I don't recommend that. I regret doing that. Emergency finger blend. That was too intense. That will stripe you out. Okay, but again, very workable once you get the finger involved. What's left? Put it right on the tippy tip of my nose, because I personally love a little tip of the nose highlight. Work it in with the finger again. So that is honestly how I would recommend using this product. It's very intense if you just put it on with the brush. I recommend putting it on with the brush and then tapping it out with your finger. That is how I feel like I've gotten it to look the best. So that's my recommendation. But if you love a blinding stripey highlight, just pop this bitch on with a brush and you're good. You're good. But I personally don't love that. I love not so much subtle. I like subtle. I bought this because it wasn't subtle and I had a very subtle highlight. So this is a little more intense than I'm used to. but I love it, and I'm able to since like work it down with the finger. I think it's a beautiful highlight. It's very, very bright. It's very, very bright, but without being in your face. Because if it was super like in my face, I don't know if I would love it. But because you are able to pat it down with the finger and kind of not dull the brightness, but mellow it out a little bit, I really, really like it. This is the last product that we're testing. This is the Taupes by Juvia's Place. This is an eyeshadow palette. It is a very cool toned eyeshadow palette, which I love. If some of you guys know, I've been on the hunt for a cool toned eyeshadow palette that is not gray and is not purple. And this just has a lot of cool toned browns. It has one gray right there, but other than that, it's just delicious. I have been playing with this. I absolutely love this. I'm gonna insert some swatches right now. There's no names for the shades. It's just like all the way across, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's no names to any of these, but they are absolutely stunning shadows. There's 3 mattes, 2 shimmers, and 1 that's like almost a glitter, which is, I love this shade so much. It's so stunning. One of the things that I have noticed about this palette is you have this brown right here, which is more of like a neutral cool brown, and then this one that's like a very cool brown. And this one I find is harder to pick up on a brush. I don't know if it was just pressed with more pressure to it, but this one I find I have to work harder to pick it up on a brush and like build it up on my eyes. But other than that, that's the only one that I have any sort of quote unquote difficulty working with. But even that, like, it's not difficult to work with at all. These are some of the softest mattes I have ever touched in my entire life. Like, you just put your finger in and it's just butter. It's just butter and then pay off. Like, phenomenal shadows. They're absolutely stunning. They are so creamy. You'll see them on the eyes. All right, I'm going to just put some concealer and powder on my eyelids first so that they're ready for shadow, and then we'll get into it. So I'm going to start with the more neutral brown shade. And this one, you'll see like it picks up so easily, and there's not a lot of kickback in the palette, like almost nothing. And it just all goes onto the brush. And then I'm just going to apply this kind of all over the crease area, just so we can get like a neutral brown transition shade in there. I'm not looking for anything intense, but if you can see like how easily that just laid down. So that just laid down super, super easy, super light, super smooth on the eye. I'm still blending and I don't know why. I don't need to be blending. You'll see I'm gonna try and pick this one up on the brush, and you'll see like it's just, the brush already had a little bit of stuff on it. It's just a little bit harder. So I find that I have to like swirl it in a bit more to kind of loosen it up and then pick up the kickback, which is a little bit strange. I think it was just like pressed a lot harder than the other one. So that might be why, but the shade is absolutely stunning. So for me, like, it's worth the work because I absolutely love this shade so much. But I'm just gonna kind of deepen the crease with this shade. And you'll see, it's just like this super, super cool toned brown that adds a beautiful shadow to the crease of the eye. And I don't have any other shades like this, which I know sounds crazy. Like, of course you have a cool tone brown. I don't have a cool tone brown like this. So for me, it's worth the extra work to get it to build up. So even that's just not a lot, but you can see the subtle difference between like the extra like dimension and shadow added to this eye and not this eye. And just to use all of the mattes, I'm gonna take this gray right here on just a flat brush, and I'm gonna kind of push that into the lash line on the top lashes. I don't know how well you can see that, but the brush, the gray picks up just as well as the first brown that we used. I'm gonna just really just like push it into the lash line. Just to add a little something, something. Just a little something, something, just so, I don't know, so I can show you more of the shadows. build up and blend so extremely well. Like they blend themselves out just on their own. This is such a good formulation. I can't believe it's taken me this long to try anything from Juvia's Place. These are elite shadows. Like the blend on these is unreal. Okay, so now we have all the mattes laid down. I don't really use this shade too much because it's a gold and I'm not a gold girly, but this kind of like amber shade and this delicious shade, I'm going to use both of these on my eyes so that way you can see. I'm going to start. I'm just going to be using these dry. If you use them wet, they are going to be a lot more bang in your face. I'm going to start with that amber shade just on a flat brush. It's a MAC 242. Love this brush. I'm just going to pick it up. There it is right there. I'm just going to kind of put this all over the lid. Like it just adds this beautiful reflection to the lid. So that's it applied with a brush. And then I'm gonna apply it with my finger over here so you can see the difference. So that is it, just applied all over with the brush. I'm gonna take my finger, go into it. That is it on my finger. I'm gonna tap this onto the lid. And then just pull it into that inner corner with the brush. So you can see you do get a little bit more intensity with the finger than the brush. And then I'm gonna go over the brush side with a wet brush. So I'm gonna take the brush, put it in again. Just pick up some more product. Take some MAC Fix Plus. Then I'm gonna apply that wet onto the lid so we can see how that applies as well. Because usually wetting a shimmer shadow will give it a more like metallic finish. Hopefully you can see. It gave it just like slightly more shine than applying it with the finger. So do a little bit more, trying to even them out a little bit. And here's the thing with these, the Juvia's Place shimmers are so absolutely stunningly gorgeous in person. And they just, it's so hard for them to translate on camera, which is very frustrating because they are so absolutely stunning. I hope that you can like see it while there. They are so absolutely stunning. They don't translate so well on camera, which is frustrating because they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful, but the cameras can't do how stunning this is justice. Then just to amp this up, I am gonna take that glitter shade because I love it so much, and I'm just gonna apply that to the, I think like inner corner of the lid. I'm just gonna take the other side of that brush. And because this is more of like a glitter product, it doesn't apply as well with a brush, but I don't want it everywhere on my lid, so that's why I'm gonna use a brush and not my finger. Like if you saw my Natasha Denona review for the I Need a New Palette, this is what I wanted Delilah to be. This is what I was hoping that shade would be. This like deep silver with like this kind of blue purpley reflect to it. Oh, so beautiful. Try and hopefully you can see like just like what it does to the eyes. The camera just like can't do these shadows justice, and it's it is what it is. Hopefully you can like see it much better in the swatches, but like these shadows are just absolutely stunning. Okay, so I have the flash on And I hope that you can like see how reflective and like gorgeous this eyeshadow truly is, because it is so stunning. All right, got some mascara, got some lip gloss on. This is the Say Mascara 101, and on my lips is the Clinique Chubby Stick in the shade Fuller Fig, topped with Cali Ray lip gloss in Taco Tuesday. One quick thing to note about this palette is that this shade right here, this one that's more of a glitter, does have some fallout under the eyes. It's not enough that I would say if you're using it, you need to do your eyes first, but enough that like I would say like have something fluffy on hand to just like slightly just wipe it away, because there is a bit of fallout whether you're using your finger or a brush. So that's just one thing to note. It's nothing that I would say like is a con at all. You're gonna get that with any glitter shadow. It's not that bad, but just something to note. Okay, so let's talk about what we did today. We did underpainting. I did put a bit of a powder blush. I put the Tarte blush in the shade Blushing Bride. Yes, it's broken. I put a little bit of that on top just because, again, I'm a blush girl. I didn't add any additional bronzer because I'm super, super fair, and I don't have a lot of powder bronzers that I love, and I feel like just doing the cream underneath warmed my face up enough for me, because I find that if I use a lot of bronzer, it just looks wrong and weird, and my face is now a different color than the rest of my body, which it even is a little bit right now. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. But I do think that the base looks very cohesive, very melted together, which, you know, like that's what, when I use powder products, that's what I take this brush for. I just try and mix everything together so it all looks cohesive and put together and as natural as it can. So I absolutely love underpainting for that. I think that it looks absolutely stunning. And then the Rare Beauty highlight. I'm just gonna say it. The more I look at it, the more I just love it. The more I look at it, the more I love it. I love the little nose. Oh my God, like I have heard a lot of people say that because, you know, these are so soft and so light that they are very fragile, that if you drop the component, it will shatter. Like I have dropped this so many times, as is evident by the fact that it's broken. This has popped out, has shattered off. I drop things a lot, so I'm a little worried about that, but like that stayed intact. But because this is so soft, that it will shatter without a question if you drop it. So I'm very, very careful with this. I think that it just adds this beautiful glow, and with like I'm tapping it into my skin, I feel like it really just melded in with everything. And it doesn't have that stripy quality to it. You're able to fix that. It's very workable. You only need a little bit. It's probably gonna last a really long time if you don't drop it and shatter it. And the eyeshadow, I think, just speaks. Oh, and I also put a little bit of I also put the Rare Beauty highlight as my inner corner highlight and on my brow bone. As you can see, these shadows are just, they speak for themselves. They speak for themselves. I am so happy with how my makeup turned out today. I think everything that we tried is a win. The highlight is stunning. The eyeshadow, gorgeous. The underpainting technique, delicious. And especially like with how affordable this is. I think this is like $12 or $15. I got it on sale at Ulta. It was $9. Stunning. Like for that price, like this is crazy. I would spend so much more for these shadows. I don't know how they do it. It is stunning, stunning, stunning. I am absolutely in love with my makeup. You know, there are some days where your makeup just looks so good that like every time you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, you're like, just gonna linger for like a second longer. That's how I'm feeling with like my mirror up there. I just kind of keep looking into it and I'm like, wow, she looks good. So I'm very, very happy with how all of this came out. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye. I regret doing that. Emergency finger blend.